Hey, it's Big Lou Barbecue and other things I want to do. And today I want to do the same thing I did last weekend. You ever make something and you eat it and it's good and you like it, but you say it's missing something. It's missing something. What's it missing? I could make this better. So I made this dish last week, videoed it and everything, and it just kept nagging me that there's something I could do better with it. And I was putting the video together and it hit me. Bacon! Everything's better with bacon. So I'm doing this video again with bacon. Now you didn't see the video last week because I deleted all the footage, just got rid of it. All right, so what am I doing? I'm doing pulled pork pot pie. Now a few weeks ago I made a pulled pork pizza because I was inspired by people on YouTube using leftover pulled pork to make pizza. My pizza didn't come out looking too good, but it sure did taste good. And then, like the next day, I saw Rich's River Smokers, West Virginia, make a pulled pork pot pie with leftover pulled pork. He had a cornbread crust and had cheese and stuff in it. He did it in a 12-inch cast iron skillet on a Weber kettle grill. Man, that looked good. But I got to thinking, that's a good idea. Pulled pork pot pie. Well, pork pot pie is a thing. And so I figured I could make pork pot pie using my chicken pot pie recipe in my Dutch oven that I like to make when I camp a lot. So that's what I did last week, and it came out good. The only difference with the pork pot pie and the chicken pot pie recipe was I used pork stock instead of chicken stock and pulled pork instead of chicken. Yeah, you got it. But when I ate it, it was good, but it tasted like chicken pot pie with pulled pork in it instead of chicken. There was something just missing, and I got to thinking about it, and I believe that's bacon. So I'm redoing that pork pot pie, pulled pork pot pie. That's a mouthful. Pulled pork pot pie. Say that 5 times fast. Pulled pork pot pie, pulled pork pot pie. I can't get it. That's only twice. I can't get it 5 times. Let's make this, okay? I'm making the biscuits. Buttermilk biscuits going to top it. We're not going to use the pie crust. We're going to use buttermilk biscuits, all right? And I'm making the pork stock, okay? Let me show you how I get the pork stock done, then the biscuits done, and then we're going to meet you at the Dutch oven. Big Lou Barbecue.
All right, to make the pork stock, we're going to boil some bones. Pork stock, or any stock, is made from boiling bones. Broth is made from boiling the meat. I saved the shoulder blade bones from pork butts and leg bones from pork shoulders that I make pulled pork out of and freeze them. All right, you bring it to a heavy boil, let it boil for about 30 minutes, and then turn it down to a simmer and let it simmer for about another hour and a half. The whole process takes about 2 hours to make the pork stock. All right, homemade buttermilk biscuits. Oh, it's probably about 2 cups of flour, maybe 1.5 cups. I don't really know. I usually make my biscuits in that bowl. I'm stirring in some lard. I heated the lard up a little bit in the microwave, and I'm just kind of mixing it in the flour. The flour kind of gets a little mealy, and then once it's all stirred in and mixed through the flour, I'm going to add in some baking powder. That's about a tablespoon of baking powder or so, and a dash of salt and a pinch of sugar I put in there. Now the buttermilk, we're going to stir it around. If it's a little too dry, add more buttermilk. If it's a little too wet, add more flour, and I'm going to wind up doing both. Add a little bit more buttermilk, and then I'm going to add a little bit more flour, and I'm going to get it just about right. I've been doing it so long, it's just kind of experience. I can't really tell you how much I put in there. I just kind of know when it's right. All right, now I've got a video on drop biscuits, how to make homemade drop biscuits, but I'm rolling these out because I want them to be thin, because when you're cooking them on top of the pot pie, the bottom sometimes doesn't get cooked if they're really too thick of biscuits, but these will cook all the way through, and I'll show you that at the end of the video. I just cut them out with a wide mouth mason jar. You know how to do that, and then once you get them all cut out of that, you ball the dough back up, roll it out again, and cut out more till you're finished up. All right, let's go to the Dutch oven.
Okay, I'm using a Dutch oven with a flat bottom. Doesn't have legs on it, so I use a coal trivet. It does have a coal lip on top of this Dutch oven. That's one thing I like about it. I can use it on the stove, or I can use it outside as long as I have this trivet. I've got about 18 coals down here or so, basically to fill up this little metal pan that I use to cook in a Dutch oven, because I don't have a Dutch oven table. And so I'm gonna set that right there and get that hot. All right, the bottom of this pan is hot. Time to add the bacon. Doesn't matter if it's thick or thin bacon, because we're going to crumble it up when we add it back to the pot pie. What we want right now is to get some grease down on the bottom and get this bacon cooked. That's all we need. We don't need a bacon press. We don't need anything like that. And I figure maybe half a dozen strips of bacon is about right. What do you think? Half a dozen is about good for anything, right? Just drop it in there and let it cook. Here, can you hear the sizzle, 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 griddle, griddle, griddle? Somebody's mowing the yard down yonder, so you can hear, maybe you can hear the mower in the background or the wind noise. I hope it's not too bad. Anyway, be back once this bacon's cooked, show you what we do next. Okay, so this bacon's fried up to about where I want it. Doesn't have to be too crispy, because we're gonna crumble it up and put it back into the pot pie mixture in just a few minutes. All right, so get this out of here. Now, we wanna add flour to this mix. How much flour? About as much as the grease we have, all right? By the way, Johnny, I'll rinse those tongs after they handle the raw bacon. So I'm gonna put some flour in here. This is maybe a cup. I'll add more if I need it. And we're gonna make a blonde roux. We're gonna cook this till it turns a, not dark brown, but a, maybe, if it's peanut butter color, it's a little too dark, but almost peanut butter color. Right now it's still kind of just tan. We want to get that roux done, and I do probably need a little bit more flour. All right, and we're gonna make a little blonde roux. Okay, this roux's getting about where I want it to be. I know it probably looks white on the camera from the evening daylight, but it's about the color of an untanned leather. That's about what I'm looking for. A pale brown, like an untanned leather, or really a leather that hadn't been colored very darkly. All right, now what we're gonna do to that, this is that pork stock that I boiled up. We're gonna pour that in slowly. It's been in the refrigerator, but I let it out of the refrigerator for about an hour now, so that it wouldn't be too cold. We're gonna add all that pork stock in there and mix this up. And what I have here, I'll mix this up in there like that. And what I have here is about a cup of half and half. You could use whole milk, you could use 2%, you could use heavy whipping cream, probably even use a can of evaporated milk if that's what you wanted to do. But some sort of dairy. And as you can tell, this was a little bit colder because I didn't leave it out of the refrigerator for an hour. It's milk, you know. And we're going to get this, bring it up to a boil. All right, I'll show you what we do next. Big Lou Barbecue. Well, our pot pie gravy sauce is looking about like this. If it was more liquid, it would be a boil. All right, we're gonna add in a can of fresh vegetables. Yep, these vegetables are fresh. I picked them fresh just this morning off the grocery store shelf. Can of fresh vegetables. I've got some pulled pork right here that I put up in the freezer a while back, and I got a little handy dandy pulled pork freezer pack opener, and we're gonna put this pulled pork right in there like that. I'm gonna let it defrost. We're just gonna mix it all in there. That's a lot of pulled pork, and I didn't realize how much I had in that package. That's good. That's what this is about, pulled pork pot pie, right? All right, and we're gonna mix this all through here. As some of that grease and stuff comes out of that pulled pork, it'll get a little runnier. So we're gonna let that cook. And I gotta get the seasonings in there. Seasonings, all right? We're gonna put in about that much Cajun Creole seasoning, all right? About that much Cajun Creole seasoning, and I wound up with flour on my hand when I reached over for that. I'm sorry about that. That's what that white stuff was on my finger. I wiped it off just now. All right, so we're gonna stir this all around and get this heating just like that. I could probably add a little bit more cream to it if I wanted to. I may just do just that. We'll be back and let this heat, and about time to put the biscuits on here in just a little bit. Oh, wait. I almost forgot. Don't go anywhere yet. Please don't go anywhere yet. Gotta have this bacon. Gotta have this bacon. That's all that bacon I crumbled up earlier that I cooked. That's gotta get mixed through there. Oh, yeah. Get that bacon mixed through there. I think I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna get my biscuits. Now, I'll put my biscuits in the ice box because this is August. It's like the first week of August, and it is hot and humid in this South Louisiana climate. And I didn't want those biscuits to get gooey. So the biscuits have been in the ice box. I'm gonna go inside, get them out of the ice box, and I'll pour up a little bit more half and half milk. Hopefully that won't burn till I get back. Big Lou barbecue. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take it off the fire right now. Yep, I'm gonna take it off the fire so that it does not burn till I get back. That's playing smart. Okay, I'm back. I just uncovered the pot, and I'm gonna set it back here on top of the coals on that trivet. And I'm gonna probably add another cup of this half and half, because that roux is kind of thick, and it is a little bit thick. I don't want it soupy, but you want it creamy, you know? You don't want it soupy, and you don't want it, you know, too thick. So I'm gonna stir this half. That's gonna do it just about right. I can see that now. So I'm gonna stir this cream into it. Half and half cream. You could use 2% milk. You could use whole milk. You could use evaporated milk, whatever. I think I said that already. Just want to make sure you know. You know, you got to tell them what you're going to tell them. You got to tell them, and you got to tell them what you told them. That's how you teach, yeah. Tell them what you're going to tell them, and tell them what you told them. All right? So if I repeat myself, maybe you missed a part of the video. Maybe somebody distracted you. So I'll say it again. I'll say my channel name a lot too, Big Lou Barbecue, because I don't want you to forget. It also helps me in the editing process because I know when I'm gonna edit the scene out, because that's the last thing I want to say. That's why I say my name a lot. All right, now, you see that beautiful stuff right there? That's gonna be good. Now, excuse me. Turn my head to cough, wipe my hands, it's off camera. Trust me, that's what's going on. All right, now, these are those biscuits I made earlier. We're gonna lay them right here on top. Now, if this was fall or a winter day, or it was I lived in a cooler climate, I'd have had these biscuits outside with me. But because it is August, and it's a humid, hot South Louisiana climate, I didn't let these biscuits sit outside with me as I cooked the bacon and prepared the pot pie part, all right? I put them in the freezer, or in the ice box actually, in the refrigerator, in the ice box, so that they would not get too gooey and nasty. In fact, that's a mistake I made last week. And even though it came out pretty, it looked like just one big biscuit on top instead of a bunch of little ones. Because you see, even that right there, it kind of got gooey. All right, but we're gonna just put these all around here. They're gonna rise. Any you have left over, you can bake in your oven inside as biscuits. All right, put one about right there, and it looks like this big one right here can go right there in the middle. And folks, maybe I can fit two there. Maybe I can fit two right there. Let's fit two right there. Move over there. Put one more right here. Folks, let's bake those biscuits. Let's bake those biscuits. We're gonna put the top on.
All right, let's bake those homemade buttermilk biscuits. I'm keeping the coals in a grill off to the side and dumping them on with an old fireplace shovel. If you want to keep your coals in a chimney and dump them all right out of the chimney, that'll work too. Once you get enough coals to cover the top, just kind of spread them out with some tongs. We're going to leave these coals on top for about 20 minutes, just enough time to bake those homemade buttermilk biscuits. And we're going to rotate the top every few minutes.
All right, I hope you can hear me. The neighbor's mowing over there. But we're going to turn this just to avoid hot spots. And we're going to turn this. And we're going to do this about 3 or 4 times during the 15 to 20 minute biscuit cook. Okay. All right. The biscuits have been baking now for about 10 minutes. They've got about another 10 minutes to go probably. But the bottom, I don't want it to burn. So we're gonna turn the fire off. The way you turn the fire off in a Dutch oven is you just pick it up and move it somewhere else. All right? So I'm gonna take this, move it over here, and I'll put this back into the camera. Hopefully you can see it, but it's not on the fire anymore. I don't want that bottom to burn. It's been about 20 minutes, and shortly after I turned it a while ago, I checked it, and it seemed to be browning more on top than it was around the outsides. So I scooped all the coals to the outside rim. All right, but I expect these biscuits to be done and this pot pie to be ready. Oh yeah, you can see what I was talking about. These browned a little more, but these are ready. Those are ready, and we're gonna take this in, we're gonna taste it and get it eaten. Okay, that's what it looks like. Let's get this on a plate and taste it. And I think I'm gonna take that center biscuit right there. Look at that, y'all. Look at all that steam coming off of there. Now remember, I rolled these biscuits out thin on purpose, okay? Because if you make them too thick, I'll tell you what happens when I make chicken pot pie in a Dutch oven sometimes. If you make the biscuits too thick, the bottom doesn't cook as fast as the top because you're not getting heat straight from the bottom because they're sitting on top of the pot pie mixture. All right, I'm gonna get some of this right there. Get a biscuit in it. We'll flip these over so they'll be pretty when other people eat. But you know, pit master gets to eat first, right? Okay, that's what it looks like. Big Lou barbecue. All right, y'all, look at that, look at that, look at that. Get some biscuit. Get some pie. Let's see if it was worth the wait. Come on, cut, biscuit. There we go. Good things come to those who wait. I'm so glad I didn't post this last week. Because like I said last week, it was basically my chicken pot pie video with pork stock and pulled pork instead of chicken stock and chicken. This bacon makes it so much better. Now look, if you want to make a chicken pot pie, do the same thing. Use some cooked chicken, use some chicken stock, and make that roux with butter. But if you're doing a pulled pork pot pie, use bacon and make that roux with the bacon grease. Oh, this is good. You want to try some?
Yes.
I'm gonna let my wife try some real quick, see what she thinks. How's that, honey?
That is really better than I expected. It's really
Better than she expected. Now, see, last week was good, but we had that. It was missing something. It's missing something, and bacon makes everything better. Pulled pork pot pie, Big Lou barbecue. Thanks for sticking around and watching till the end. It's absolutely delicious. And if you want to use canned biscuits, make it easy. Nobody's looking. Big Lou barbecue.